I'm a widower and have a little daughter who's a very picky eater and got worse after her mother's passing. She loved her mother's cooking and refused to eat anything that isn't made by her mother. I decided to cook her favourite meals that my wife used to cook, and my daughter has been loving my version of her mother's cooking. I recently started working a new job and my mother-in-law started watching my daughter 3 days a week. I have my sister helping, so I'm doing good. I prepare meals for my daughter to take with her to her grandparents' house so my mother-in-law won't have to worry about what my daughter can and cannot eat. My mother-in-law complained about the meals I sent and said I needed to encourage my daughter to eat a variety of dishes. I already explained how my daughter is when it comes to food and that I'm already learning new dishes every week, so it's not repetitive. So last week I discovered that my daughter has been eating only snacks for days at her grandparents' house. She told me this and I was confused. I asked about the meals I send with her and she said her grandma would take them from her and once I leave, throw them in the trash can, then tell her to eat dishes she makes. My daughter refused and has been only eating snacks at that house. I was enraged. I confronted my mother-in-law and she said that she didn't find that me sending meals with my daughter was the right thing to do and wanted her granddaughter to eat her cooking and was upset that she refused. She says it's my fault her granddaughter doesn't want to eat certain foods and that I was spoiling her rotten with this behavior. I mentioned that the meals she threw away were my wife's recipes and that I struggled so hard to provide those meals, as well as taking time to learn to cook them. She stated I wasn't doing a good job parenting and needed to get a grip because she felt concerned about how spoiled my daughter was because of me. I eventually told her I won't let her watch my daughter from now on and decided to ask my sister for help. Father-in-law and sister-in-law kept calling me cruel for not letting them see their granddaughter, and father-in-law said that I overreacted and promised to convince his wife to let my daughter eat what she wants as long as she visits. I refused to discuss it because I really don't take what they say at face value right now. Am I the idiot? Her mother died and her dad decided to help his daughter eat by learning his deceased wife's cooking. It's an everlasting connection between them and their lost wife and mother. No way on this blue earth would I let mother-in-law babysit my daughter again. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law are all idiots if they allowed this to go on. You are not the idiot. You don't fix picky eating by letting a child go hungry. Not the idiot. I'm so confused why she would throw perfectly good meals away, especially because they also have sentimental value for your daughter. It's very nice that you put time and effort into learning these recipes of your late wife. I'm also baffled that they're okay with letting the kid eat snacks but not actual meals. They are the ones doing a lousy job, not you. You have every right to stop making them babysit her. It seems like mother-in-law threw away the food because she was hiding the fact that OP's daughter was not being allowed to eat it. She was concealing her bad behavior from OP. My in-laws are blaming me for my daughter's behavior, saying I'm the reason she's refusing to eat anything her grandma cooks, and also said it's my fault my daughter only ate snacks at their house. Although they keep giving her the snacks, they say they couldn't let her be hungry. She shouldn't because I already send meals with her to eat and spare my in-laws the trouble, but my mother-in-law thinks I'm doing everything wrong and that this results from my poor parenting. Was cooking something that your mother-in-law often did for her daughter? I wonder if the issue stems more from her wanting your daughter to eat her cooking than it is about what your daughter eats. Obviously, your mother-in-law should apologize because throwing food out is never okay, especially in these circumstances. I wonder how she'd respond if you tried to share the recipes with her so that she could make them for your daughter instead of sending the already cooked meals. It might make your mother-in-law feel included. This probably has deeper complex layers, I'm sure, and I hope that she comes round or, at the bare minimum, doesn't keep throwing away and wasting food. Hopefully normalcy will reign soon. Lots of love and light to you. I am 35 female lead software developer at a startup, so a small company. Company is fully remote, so everyone works at home. I live with my 36 male boyfriend, long-term partner. He's fully employed and content in his current job, and we own a house together. My company recently opened a position for a Scrum Master and my boyfriend wanted to apply. He's heard me talking about the company and he believes it will be successful, as do I. He suggested he apply for the job and I asked him not to. I have several reasons for this. The relationship between Scrum Master and lead developer is a tight one and can sometimes be tense, and I'm not comfortable having him in that position. I believe he would use his personal relationship with me as leverage that any other Scrum Master would not be able to do. I know his personality and I know that he would. The company is not yet profitable and still at high risk. I don't think it's wise for us to put all of the household eggs in one basket in this case, because if the company fails, as many startups do, we will both be unemployed at the same time. I really don't need someone in my household making comments like, "Why are you going to the gym when you have this 13-point ticket to finish?" Again, I know his personality and I know this is something he would do. I thought this conversation was over weeks ago, and then the other day, I mentioned that I'd referred a friend of mine for another position in the company. He got angry that I would refer another friend and not let him apply. None of my above reasoning applies to my friend, who lives in another state. It's been a few days and he's still angry with me. He said I should let him apply. I said he should respect that this is a boundary I'm not willing to compromise. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm a lead developer and I totally agree with all 3 points. It can be different working at a company maybe that you and your spouse own, but if you all don't own it, the power structure at work will most likely affect your personal life. You're entirely correct. I'm also a software engineer. I stayed away from my partner's company because I was afraid we'd be constantly discussing work in a way that wouldn't allow us to decompress. The age-old adage of "don't poo where you eat" rings true in the workplace, and this would create a significant headache while you're still together, let alone if you ever broke up. Not the idiot. The real question here isn't whether you're the idiot, but rather why you would be with someone you are confident will use emotional leverage against you. That seems like a significant red flag. If my SO wanted to work with me, I'd be jumping with joy that I could spend more time with them because I know they can work with me in a workplace environment and in a casual environment. The fact that you don't want them there should be a sign of the condition of your relationship. I'd suggest talking to him about the things he does that would make you not want to work with him, and say that if he doesn't change those things, that you will not want to work with him and might even rethink your relationship as a whole. Agreed. This is very strange. For how she knows he will use their relationship as a manipulative tactic. Because it's part of his personality, this shows that he's done this before. I'm not saying everyone should want to work with their spouse, but if you're sure he'll use your work life against you at home and home life against you at work, are you sure you want to be with someone like that? My husband and I work together, but at the same time, neither of us would do anything like leverage relationships. We had to sign a consent form and everything, and we hold the same position. I do think you're not the idiot, and I totally understand not wanting to work with him. But read all of the comments and please think about your relationship and whether or not couples therapy might be an option. Or leaving too, if that's what you want. I, 37 female, have parental controls enabled on all of my kids' devices. Almost adult female, teenage male, pre-tween female, and I have a device limiting their internet access. The controls restrict the internet and apps, specifically content they can access, the max time they can use apps, games, internet, and set a bedtime, 8 p.m, when all the internet and most apps turn off. The oldest daughter has relaxed controls. The main thing is they turn off at night, 8 p.m, and there are time limits. I do not look at what website she visits or anything like that, and she can access social media, texting, FaceTime, etc. I sometimes restrict her access if she has late homework, doesn't do her chores like multiple days in a row, or otherwise misbehaves, but this is rare. She asked if I could take them off her devices when she becomes almost adult, so we did a trial. She has a history of depression. We started using parental controls like this when she was in therapy under the advisement of her treatment team. Over the 5 weeks she had them disabled, she began isolating, staying up all night, not doing the things she enjoys, and falling asleep in her online class. I put them back on, had her go back to see her therapist, and she quickly went back to her old self. Straight A student who's asleep by 10, reads multiple books a week, runs track, cross-country, volunteers and plays in the orchestra. She contends I overreacted and she was fine. She brought it back up this week. She'll be attending college part-time in the fall, morning will be high school classes, the afternoon will be college classes, and will be an adult at the end of the year. After putting some thought into it, I told her I would be willing to negotiate some changes, like a later bedtime, but as long as I was paying for her internet and cell phone, I would continue to use the controls, even after she turns 18 if I felt she needed them. Of course, she's free to pay for her own internet or phone plan, but this isn't an option as she currently doesn't work for pay. She's very angry with me and feels I'm infantilizing her. She even called my sister to ask if she can move in with her. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Once she's 18, she's an adult. You should remove the controls. Is keeping control over your daughter more important than saving and maintaining the relationship? You using the fact that you pay for the bill is manipulative in this case. Your need to control her is probably putting more strain on her mental health than not having parental controls. You are infantilizing her. She's mature enough to take high school and college classes at the same time. It seems like you just want to maintain control out of a misguided belief that you're helping her. When kids get to be her age, autonomy, privacy, and trust are important, and you will push her away. And she's never going to be able to manage her depression on her own if her mum won't let her be in situations where she has the opportunity to improve. It's like teaching a kid to swim but refusing to let it in water more than 2 inches deep. You are the idiot who is coddling her. She will be 18, old enough to vote, buy cigarettes, join the military, but she won't have unlimited access to the internet? Yikes, I would be so embarrassed if I had to explain to my college professors that I couldn't finish an assignment because my mom restricts my internet usage for my own well-being. You are the idiot. You put the controls back at the same time as having her return to therapy, after which you saw improvement. Of course you saw improvement, she was back in therapy. You can't expect her to keep to these controls when she's gone to college. You're making her stand out by being different and not treating her like an adult. If people go from restrictions to freedom, they're generally likely to overindulge. By not letting her figure her own stuff out now, you're setting her up for failure when she does have the freedom. My parents were strict about it until I turned 18, but before then I found many ways around the controls. It damaged my relationship with my parents, the lack of their trust. Don't be that parent. Do better. Yesterday, my sister, mum, myself and a couple of our friends went on a girls' trip to the beach. The trip had been planned for a while. My sister thought we should invite my brother's girlfriend, Chloe, along too. She's an accountant. They've been together for 6 months. I've only met her a few times because she's a huge workaholic, so I haven't had much of a chance to hang out with her properly. Anyway, I invited her, but I didn't think she'd say yes, but I was happy that she did. We all met at the train station to get going. Chloe was wearing this gorgeous pink dress. I asked her where she got it, and she looked me right in the eye and said, "A shop." I didn't know if she was trying to be funny, but there was no reason to try to make me look stupid like that. Later, when we were hanging out on the beach, Chloe got her tablet out and started doing some work. On the beach, I thought this was pretty weird, but I didn't say anything. The rest of us went to play volleyball, but Chloe said she wasn't coming as she wanted to finish what she was doing. I said she could do that anytime she wanted, but she doesn't get to have a trip like this every day. Chloe responded saying that she doesn't enjoy silly things like volleyball, which I thought was another rude comment. I said if she was going to be a snobby cow all day, why did she agree to come with us? Shockingly, my sister and mum jumped in and said that I was being really nasty to her. I can't believe they stuck up for her. I didn't speak to Chloe for the rest of the day, but when we got home, I got a text from my brother demanding to know why I was horrible to his girlfriend. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have made the snobby cow comment, but she tried to humiliate me in front of everyone with the shop comment, and then called the things I enjoy silly. Why should I have to put up with her nonsense if she's going to act like she's better than me? You are the idiot. There is no need to insult someone for not wanting to play volleyball. Maybe she really needed to get her work done, but still wanted to spend time on the beach with her potential new family. This could really ruin a relationship with your brother in the long term if they get married. Not the idiot. Replying to your question with "a shop" was weird. I don't know why people are ignoring this glimpse into her personality. That's why you snapped at the second comment about volleyball being silly. If you think you've pegged her correctly and she really is a brat, sit back and let her make everyone angry at her own pace. If you've guessed wrong and she's a nice person, that will also make itself apparent. Do nothing and treat her as nicely as you can. These kind of things fix themselves. Everyone's the idiot here. You fought fire with fire and you both got burned. She was rude, but so were you. Neither of you is in the right in this situation. Not everyone enjoys beach volleyball. That doesn't make her a cow. Some people just like being out in fresh air without having to get covered in sand. You sound quite snobby about what people are supposed to do when they're at the beach. Finally, yeah, everyone's the idiot here. I do think there's a chance the dress comment could be rude. For those who aren't aware, there's this thing where some people refuse to answer these questions because they think others want to steal their style. And to respond by calling your activity silly was rude when she was invited out, and you were trying to make her feel included. But what did you expect to happen when you called her a snobby cow? You escalated it for no reason and ruined the atmosphere for everyone else. When my wife got pregnant, I dumped her because she admitted to baby trapping me. We've had split custody of our son from the day he was born to the day he turned 18, when he then stayed with me full-time as of his choice. In 2017, my son married his high school sweetheart, and about 4 months ago, they decided to have a child. She recently decided that she wanted her mom in the room during her labor, and everyone was perfectly fine with this, except for my ex-wife. As the father of this child, she claimed that he needs to be more realistic and be there for his wife during her time of need. We all just told her to stop because she didn't get to make that choice. He was fine with it and it's what his wife wanted, so my ex should not get an opinion on that matter. Well, this went on for about 2 weeks, and yesterday I'd had enough. We were all over there discussing a gender reveal. Nothing big, they were just going to have a friend make a cake, it would just be family. She brought up the issue with the delivery room and I got really annoyed. I told her that she needed to shut the heck up and get over herself because it wasn't her child and she didn't get to make that choice. She got upset and started wailing, so my son kicked her out. We went back to what we were doing and my daughter-in-law actually thanked me for saying something, but I can't help but feel like I was too harsh. Am I in the wrong here? Info. This is a genuine question. How does someone you're already married to baby trap you? I thought that was something that only a horrible person who was a singleton would do to a partner who wouldn't commit. We were married under the agreement that we wouldn't have any children. I found out she was using me mainly for money inherited from my parents, and I planned to leave her, but she had already ripped small holes into our protection. Not the idiot. You were right to speak up. Your ex is just salty that she got told her opinion doesn't matter. And it doesn't. She wasn't being asked for her opinion, she was being informed of their decision. The couple having the baby makes that decision, and they have made theirs. Ex needs to apologize for overstepping. If you didn't put the baby in and don't plan to take it out, your say is exactly diddly squat. In my opinion, it's important that the father of the kid accepts the mom's decision, but nobody else need to even consent to the arrangement. Not the idiot. Your daughter-in-law picks whoever she wants in the delivery room. She picked her mom. Your son is fine with your daughter-in-law's choice. Your ex-wife couldn't take it, her feelings got hurt, and she responded by wailing. Your delivery may have been a little harsh, but in the end, your daughter-in-law decides who is in the delivery room. She made her choice. End of story.